I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education for Bucyrus City School District to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Stone? Here. Dr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Sheever?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here. If we could all rise and say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and we will start right away with the commendations.
Welcome everybody. We're happy to recognize several groups of students and staff tonight. So the good news is that you're at the front end of the agenda. This is a public meeting. You're more than welcome to stay for the entire meeting if you'd like, but most people take the advantage after the accommodations. We snap a group picture and you're free to go after that. So appreciate you coming. We have quite a large group of students and staff here tonight. We're going to start with the student artwork accommodations, and if those of you that don't know, we have a rotation of artwork that is displayed in the central office hallway. If you had an opportunity to come down the hallway and check out the student artwork, it's tremendous. About every couple months it gets switched out. So students from K, or really pre-K through 12, have the opportunity to submit artwork through their art teachers, and those students are recognized when their artwork has been chosen to be displayed. And as Mr. Bucyrus here tonight to hand out the certificates, do we have any other art staff with us tonight?
I think it's just
you. Okay, good. Just a quick announcement while everybody is here. We do have the annual Arts Festival that's scheduled for Thursday, May 7th. May, okay. Got lots of May dates flowing through my head right now. But this is a tremendous opportunity to show off how artistic our students are in the district. We both have visual art displays, also performances by both our vocal and instrumental programs in the school district. During the school day, all 750 of our elementary kids get an opportunity to come up and spend the day looking at the performances and the visual art of our high school students at the high school. It's not a small task to bust that many kids up. It's through a rotation that we start working on getting them up to the school at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it goes throughout the entire day. So the kids, high school kids, get pretty wore out, especially those that are involved in lots of activities, but it's a great connection between the two buildings. And then that evening, there's opportunity for the public to come to the Arts Festival. Doors will open at 5:30. The performances start at 6 o'clock. And you will not be disappointed to come and see the work that our students put in to performing and all the visual art that is displayed in the high school gym. If you haven't been to the Arts Festival yet, I strongly encourage on May 7th to come up and see the great work that our students put on. So without further ado, Mr. Bauer, come forward and present the accommodations from the board.
Okay.
I'm Zach Bauer, the middle school art teacher. I'm going to represent the art department tonight. I'm going to call the students up in sections. Try to start with elementary, move from there. When your name's called, come forward and stay up here until we call each level, and we'll send you back down so we don't have a bunch of people standing up here at the same time. First is Audrey Tuttle. Is she here tonight? She's not here tonight. Next is Danica Rowald. Okay. Next is Carson Kimmel. He's here tonight. Congratulations, Carson. Kyla Hines. Melody Brown. And these are our elementary students. All right, scream at your practice. Scream. All right. And again, all the art students, we're going to do a group picture, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Out in the front, in the entranceway. So stick around until at least we get your picture taken as a group of artists there. You guys can have a seat then after. All right, next will be middle school students. First is Katie Osball, who I don't believe could be here tonight. Mackenzie Chapman is also, I believe, absent. Megan Gallant is here with us tonight. She's an 8th grader. Christina Johnson is unable to be here tonight also. Riley Moody is here. And Samantha Murdoch. And those are all of our middle schoolers. So. One more section of students here. These are high school students. First is Nessie Rittenberry. Next is Jordan Gibson. Jesse Heinley, who I don't believe is here tonight. Selena Kelly. Bailey Plumley. And Jasmine Sweeney. And these are our high school students. Follow Nancy. Thanks for having me.
And once all the different groups get recognized, the students and staff will actually take a group picture out in the entranceway there. Mr. Stone will be snap the picture so we can get that posted on Facebook and out through the media. So the next group of students, if you didn't know, each of our assistant principals, because the job of our assistant principals normally deal with discipline and attendance. It's not always happy news, the stuff that they have to deal with. So we started at the beginning of the year an opportunity for each of our assistant principals to recognize a group of students for their positive contributions to the school. And each of the different assistant principals have taken a different angle on the students and who they chose to recognize. And tonight's month is our high school assistant principal, Mr. Dennison, and he has 3 different groups of students that he's recognizing for their positive contributions to the school district. Mr. Dennison?
Thanks, Mr. Kimmel. President Murdoch, members of the board, district administration, and the best people here, no offense, guardians, parents, be really proud of your students, your children. Like Mr. Kimmel said, it's a great opportunity for me to do something kind of in the positive realm. And before I go any farther, there's some things here I guess there's some people I want to recognize out here first. I'm not sure if Amanda Kent is here. Mrs. Kent organizes the science fair each year, and she has a lot of help behind the scenes running that, and that is a wonderful activity. I believe in the crowd here we have Mr. Ginther, could you stand, and Mrs. Holman. Ms. Holman, could you stand? These two are part of our middle school science team. They have assisted in dealing with middle school students and getting their projects ready. So could we have a round of applause? Also, I'm going to be calling up members, major cast members of the Wiz, and I want to first of all say that just like and I have to liken a lot of things to athletics and sports. Everybody has their role in accomplishing an event. Some more major than others, but we're going to recognize those major members of the Wiz. And I think I see Mrs. French here. Could you stand for a second? Listen, I was in briefly watching, and I don't know if you saw me, but once again, I'm gonna liken it to like football 2-a-days and basketball, and you know when you start working with kids, and man, they just don't know what they're doing, and you're leading them. And what a fine job you did with the Wiz. And I have to say, I gain an appreciation of the performing arts every time I see these kids work. I've tried to act in my life, and my part of acting was trying to be sick before going to school. And evidently I wasn't very good because my parents sent me anyway. So we have a round of applause for Mr. We're going to start. Oh, one other thing. I had Mrs. Mudisball, who is my secretary. I said, Justy, could you pull up the GPAs of all these kids? And I want to calculate them and get an average. And these kids are busy. We're talking about busy kids. You know, 3.62 of all these kids. And you know, if you can't put that on a flagpole and say, get involved in Bucyrus because your GPA is going to be well, then you're silly. So congratulations to all you for that. So give yourself a round. Okay, enough of me talking. I'm going to pull up 3 groups of people. First, the science fair people, and there are 2 middle school students involved in that. But since you made it to the district level, correct, district level going to SU, I'm going to pull you up also. We'll start out science fair, and that was Julie Van Voorhees. And this is receiving a superior rating at the local and district level, and qualifying for state competition at Ohio State University. And once again, I think Bailey Plumlin. This middle school student, Kate Slagle. And lastly, Reese Ziegler. All these have received a superior rating and have qualified for the state competition at OSU. Give them The next group here is from the production The Wiz. And we'll start out here. Dorothy, you want to come up here? Rose Buckaloo. about the scarecrow? See where? Alex? Levi Vermillion. Tin Man, you've cleaned up a little bit. And then the Lion, Aaron Stillwell. And then the Wiz, Dominic Schiffer here. Sophie McAdams at apparel. Kayla Hopkins, I don't believe I've seen her here. She was Evelyn. Ashley Keener, Glinda. Keely Cyber, part of the Yellow Brick Road. Okay. Logan Kissling, you're part of that Yellow Brick Road. Mary Hart, part of that Yellow Brick Road. Ashley Purcell, Yellow Brick Road. And another Yellow Brick Road, Bailey Wilson. That was it. There you go. And then the last group here is it's more of an athletic type honor, and you know these kids they come to school with aches and pains that you know the kids that are in the academic classes may not experience, and I'll tell you, sometimes it's hard to get up the next day after a loss. And they still keep going. And I'll start out here in basketball. I believe it was voted on by his peers the most valuable player in basketball this year was Brian Snowford. And then in girls basketball, I don't have enough time to talk about Macy Shear and her exploits and her accomplishments. But I will tell you this, there's a basketball in the trophy case that has her name on it, and I'm going to guess that's going to be there for a while. She's the all-time leading scorer, both boys and girls, for Bucyrus. And Macy, you have so many other honors that you've earned. I'm not even going to delve into them. But you've been an excellent representative for Bucyrus. GPA is up there, excellent athlete, along with Mr. Snolfer here, and all of them. As I said, this group of people have accumulated a GPA of 3.62 of all the time that they spend on top of going to school. So, very wonderful. Macy Shear. And then also with the gals here, I can recall going to many girls' basketball games, and on the other team, if there was somebody that they wanted shut down, they did not want to score, there was one person that I saw assigned to that gal every time, and I believe you led the team defensively, and you're honored here tonight for that, Hannah Wyatt. And in wrestling, just as in basketball, and he also qualified for the districts, and he was also an MVP on the wrestling squad, Justin Campbell. Karen Gathright, is she here this evening? Okay. She, for being the top league swimmer, and she also qualified for the state competition. Cheerleading, recognized for all county as a cheerleader for Bucyrus High School, Haley Chester.
The next student recognition, we're going to turn over to Mr. Roll.
Thank you. Elise, would you like to join me, please? In the fall each year, sponsored by our local Bucyrus Fire Department, they come in, and even though it's something that we should be concerned about all the time, they take opportunity to come in and remind us about fire safety. And so we always appreciate that. Well, then this year, our art teacher, Mrs. Pranger, working with the local fire department, there was a request for fire safety posters. And Elise worked hard on, and this was something that was optional, not required to do, but Elise took her time, worked hard, and produced a poster that was submitted to our local fire department. Well, lo and behold, I'll say a little over, maybe a month or so ago, I received a phone call. Would you like to come on up, please, sir? From this gentleman. This is Mr. Troy Huth, who is a representative of the State Fire Marshal's Office, and informed me that Elise was one of 12 students selected statewide to be recognized by the State Fire Marshal's Office. And so what I would like to do at this time on behalf of our district is provide this certificate of commendation to Elise Dye for having her poster chosen as a winning Fire Safety Week poster by the State Fire Marshal. So I'll shake her hand and we'll congratulate her. But Mr. Huth would like to make a presentation as well, please.
Yes, very good. Like the gentleman was saying here, we have a fire poster contest every year, and the way we divide it is we have 2 separate categories, K through 3rd grade, and then 3rd through 6th grade. So it's only 6 out of each of those categories. So really, there's 12 in the state, but you're really one of 6 in the state. So it's very good. And what we do is, like you were saying, the local fire department does an initial judging, and then they send them down to the marshal's office, and then we go through them all. And there's several thousand that actually are in the initial stages. What we look at is we look at the artwork, which is very good, but also the message, the fire safety message. Unfortunately, last year in the state of Ohio, we had over 100 fire fatalities in the state of Ohio. And the majority of those fire fatalities were in homes with no smoke detectors or smoke detectors that weren't working. And the nice thing about the message here is it says change your smoke detector batteries. I don't know if everybody can see that, but that's a very important part of fire safety, is making sure we have working smoke detectors in the house. And that's why we really like this message. So what you're going to get today is your original artwork back. You're going to get a certificate from the State Fire Marshal's Office, and I'll just read this quickly. It says Certificate of Appreciation or Achievement. Congratulations, Elisa Dye, Bucyrus Elementary School. Your poster entry has been selected as a winner in the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of State Fire Marshal 2013 Fire Prevention Week poster contest winner. And then it's signed by the State Fire Marshal, which is Marshal Larry Flowers, and it's also signed by Director of Commerce, which is Mr. Porter. So you're going to get a certificate of achievement. You're also going to get a ribbon. And then also we are going to give you, you and your family, passes to the State Fair this year. Every year the Department of Commerce has a booth down at the State Fair, and in that booth we hang up the 12 poster winners as artwork for everybody to see that comes through our booth at the State Fair. So you and your family are also going to get passes down to the State Fair as well. So I need to get your information before I leave so we can mail you those passes in the mail. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You did a very good job, and like I said, your message is very important, and I hope everybody sees that message down at the State Fair and throughout the state. So thank you for
I don't know if Elise or maybe her mother, and this was one of these things that when we talked, I heard from Mr. Huth, first went up and talked to Elise and then talked to her mother. Her mother said, well, what do you know? This is a cause near and dear to us. And one thing also was she used to receive smoke detectors. And ma'am, would you like to tell us what your project is with regards to smoke detectors, please?
Our family lost 3 children in a fire about 3 years ago. So we were collecting smoke detectors to give out to needy families on behalf of 3 Angels.
Very good.
Okay, not only do we have wonderful students, as you've seen, we have wonderful staff. So at this time, we're going to ask Lori Pennington to come forward, and we have a special group of staff members that we would like to recognize this evening. Lori?
I went to Mr. Kimmel a couple months ago and said, really like to recognize my staff, food service staff, for both buildings. Not only because this year I was off on like an intermittent leave, and they did a great job while I was off, but also every year they are consistently showing what they can do in the kitchen and making sure we're serving safe food to the kids. We are required by Sodexo to go through an NSF audit, which is more stringent than the local health department. I mean, the auditor comes and asks questions to make sure I'm training them properly and that they know the answers, like what temperatures, what do you do, if your temperature doesn't meet the requirements. And they go and ask those questions, and if they don't know, then we get docked. And if they miss so many, then we lose points on our audits. So I like to take the time to recognize the staff that came today. But I like to work my elementary staff. You come up, Angie Letter, Ruth Williams, Linda Ross, come on up, please. You guys. And one other thing for my elementary staff. For 2 years in a row, not this year, but last year and the year before, they received a perfect 100 on both audits. So they get this plaque that will hang up. Next, my secondary staff, Shirley Chapman, Charmaine Teets, Loretta Green, Mary Meadows, please come up. And this year they weren't perfect. Shannon, I'm sorry, Shannon Landis. You were sick. You look like a parent.
they've done a great job. We didn't get a perfect one here, but we're still double gold in the eyes of Sodexo, so I appreciate everything they do. The other person, really, I want to point out, Mary Meadows. When I was on intermittent leave, she stepped up and took over ordering for me, which is not an easy task when you're doing both buildings, 6 different menus that you're ordering for, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, at this time I'd like to invite Beth Constantine to the floor, and I'll turn the program
I'm going to
over.
have Cindy come up with me, please. I have a feeling that a lot of students and probably staff as well in the room know who this is. She doesn't need much of an introduction, but this is Cindy Clowner. She is our local representative of Marion Crawford Prevention Programs, and there is no way I can name everything that Cindy and her staff does for our district. From our elementary level, I know that she does a hands-on museum, and I should say that a lot of the activities that Cindy provides, she does with our older students. So she allows our older students the opportunity to go and do these things at the younger levels. For our after-school program, she teaches character education and problem-solving skills. We have a 6th grade empowerment day coming up at the middle school. She sits on our wellness committee. That's how this happened. We were talking about her when she missed a meeting, and we said, what would we do without Cindy and her staff? She is also the head of our TI, that's Teen Institute chapter at our high school, and she provides a lot of drug and alcohol-free safe events and activities for our students to participate in. And also, she is a critical part of our program, our drug testing program. If we do have students that need the drug and alcohol portion, education portion of that, Cindy provides that curriculum for them. And I want to add, she does all of this free to our district. She charges not a penny to do all of this, and that is just huge. And I know I speak for our building principals and for Mr. Kimmel when I just want to tell her, we just appreciate you and your staff so much and do not know what we would do without you. So thank you very much.
Okay, we have one last recognition tonight that's not on the agenda. That's board permission to come up and kind of announce what you have to.
I have an announcement. So, as you know, we had the Future Chef competition back in March. And what happens is we send our local winner the recipe onto like a regional level. And our local winner, Madeline Kimmel, Chef Madeline, her recipe was chosen to be one of the top 35 recipes in the nation. So with that, she receives a gift package, a $400 gift package from Sodexo. So come on up. She doesn't know that.
On a side note, Maddie didn't know she was being recognized tonight, and I put the onus on her mom to make sure she got dressed up for the event. I assume you weren't happy about. Now that you have a Kindle and an Amazon $100 gift card, I suppose that's okay. All right. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. You're welcome to get your picture taken out in the foyer area. And you're welcome to come back, but you are dismissed, and have a good evening. Thank you.
That's right. 6'2". Oh my God. You killed it. Oh no.
At least I got on camera.
Yeah, you got on camera.
Exciting. Okay, so I'll be giving this all like. Thank you.
Okay. All right. 419.
You just like spiders. I don't have a problem.
911.
I've had a snake up in my car.
35.
All right.
That's Tanya's cell phone number. That's mom. Yeah. Did get an interview with her.
Shoot a cannon.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Congratulations.
All righty then.
Sorry. Lots of good things
Lots of
going
good
on.
That's great. It's good to see all those commendations.
I blame the same.
I'm glad to see it's still going on. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
It's a good thing.
All right, well, moving on, on to the approval of the minutes. Could I get a motion, please? So moved. Support. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Stone? Yes. Ms. Woodrow?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes. On to the approval of the treasurer's financial report dated March 31st, 2014. Could I get a motion, please? Support. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Great.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, good evening. Try to be brief here tonight. A couple of items I want to cover with you. We closed the books on the month of March. General fund expended $453,000, more than we brought in revenue. Sounds worrisome. I think for the year, as I begin to work on the 5-year forecast, we're going to be close to the break-even point in the black. The reason we may tiptoe into the red, we decided to step up our bus purchase a year earlier than we had intended, and that cost us approximately $90,000. So we're going to be between break-even, $40,000 to $50,000 in the red, mainly attributable to stepping that purchase up. On April 10th, we went out to the market to pick up the second piece of the bond we returned last year that we couldn't do. And that resulted in a savings of $60,710.34, or just over 3% for our district residents. Again, we don't receive any proceeds from that, but it does alleviate some of the burden and the interest costs that we're going to pay over time with that issue. So very positive news for the community. I'm glad we were able to take advantage of historically low interest rates again to receive a little bit of savings. After our meeting last month, I did get the opportunity to sit down and discuss with Medical Mutual our wellness plan for the district. They are going to provide that at no cost to us. I think it's a nice buffer because they're a third party. They're not going to be looking at me as collecting the data. Hopefully the employees are a little more relaxed using a third party person. I don't have access to anyone's individual data. We will get the statistics back in aggregate to see areas, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, et cetera. What are areas that we need to concentrate on as a district to improve hopefully drive our costs down further. In light of that, I decided to revamp our health insurance committee, try to get it more active and engaged, again, tying it in with the wellness plan. They're going to pick up that wellness piece and become actively involved in it. It's going to be comprised of 3 BEA members, 3 BOSS members, Mr. Kimmel, myself, and a board representative. To try to come together, work together on how all of the different levers inside of our health plan work, try to educate our staff members so that every time we sit down at the table, there's more of a general understanding of where our health plan's at, what are the impacts to the changes we do or don't make to the overall cost of that plan, so that it's not maybe as contentious when we do sit back down and negotiate our insurance. It's not going to encompass the split that the board pays versus the employees, but again, I'm hoping to drive more ownership with their plan versus, oh gee, the treasurer saying we need to make this change. Well, here's my recommendation and here's why. And eventually we'll all be moving in lockstep to understand why it's important, and then they can carry that message back to their respective membership bodies to try to educate them as well. So hopefully I'll improve some communication there. Another piece Mr. Kimmel and myself have, I guess, been working on for a better part of the year is exploring paperless options with our absence forms. And it's kind of been pushed to the forefront with the Affordable Care Act and this mandate that anyone working over 30 hours a week we have to offer health insurance to. There's a product out there we're using now with Greenhill called ASOP that manages our certified substitutes. And we had investigated the option of obtaining our substitutes over to Greenhill full go. They call it a full service proposal. When we sat down and looked at the cost, it was going to add anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 a year to manage those, when we can bring it in-house and do it ourselves with the same piece of software for around $3,500 plus some setup fees in year one. So it's much more cost effective to use the same software they are, bring it in-house. I don't want to steal any thunder from Mr. Kimmel on this, but one piece we were concerned about is how do we manage the burden we need for subs in the buildings with increased professional development, et cetera. There's a lot of time spent working with teachers. We've decided to bring on 4 full-time subs, if you will, to help alleviate that. They're already here, and we're using almost 8 per day on average. So bringing on 4 will alleviate the burdens of an ASOP system on the administration having to go out and scramble to secure subs at the last minute. So it's a happy medium. It takes some off their plate. We're bringing it in-house to manage those costs. Then we also pick up the benefit of streamlining efficiencies with the workflows. That system talks directly with our payroll system. So hopefully once we get this up and running, we can mitigate the paper that flows through and it'll import directly into the accounting software. Second piece, Mr. Kimmel had a huge goal when I first started that we wanted to begin to go digital with our documents. We've got mounds of student records. We just continually are generating paper after paper. And MEC, which is an ITC in Columbus, they offer a product called OnBase that we're going to go through a demo here at the beginning of May. And that encompasses all of our student and our fiscal records when those are generated. I don't know all the tie-ins yet, but we're moving towards an all-digital front if we can to, again, streamline costs and maximize efficiencies if it's prudent cost-wise to offset those. Well, almost lastly, Jake Grau and I sat down with a company called PlugSmart. They do energy management studies that lead towards House Bill 264 projects. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of these. I've expressed that before because they like to come in and rip the guts of the heating and cooling systems out. It's very expensive to do. instead of taking that approach, they're going to come in and put some tools in place to monitor our electric usage, take a look at what we're actually using on various fixtures, appliances, etc. And then if it makes sense and the return on investment's high enough, we're going to examine replacing our inside and outside lighting with LED lights, including the gymnasiums. And we have a boiler issue in the secondary building. We have one that's leaking, it's aged, and because of the new efficiency and newer boilers, potentially we can encompass that in for replacement as well, depending on time frames, because that's going to have to be taken care of prior to next winter coming around. So we've got a lot of balls in play, hopefully some additional cost savings and some improvements to our physical plants as we move forward. Last bit of item, I think my staff's worked very diligently. I was notified we did get an auditor state award for audit this past year. I can't praise the work that Judy and Roxanne do on the back end enough. I just wanted to make you folks aware of that. I do have a certificate of commendation from them I'll pass around, but just wanted to let you know the staff continues to work diligently. That concludes my report.
All right. Thank you. Roll call when you're ready.
Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Stone.
Yes.
Ms. Whitterhouse.
Yes.
Mr. Schieffer.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes. We do not have an addendum, or we do?
No.
No. Okay. Moving on to the committee reports. Mr. Stone?
Excuse me, I have none.
Understandable. Mr. Schieffer and Ms. Whitterhouse.
I have it tonight, and our softball scoreboard has been delivered, and Coach Hargis is checking on whether or not it needs any additional permits. I guess we went from one pole to 3 poles holding up this, so I don't know if he's found anything with that.
Yeah, we're gonna, originally we kind of thought, well, we'd slap up another wood pole and put the 20-foot long scoreboard on it. We realized that it needs to be put the right way. Now, putting it up the right way, a little more, putting it up the right way is quite a substantial cost, even though the scoreboard was free due to advertisement sales. So we're investigating quotes right now for that.
Okay. It is white and red, and it is wireless, and a big thank you needs to go to the athletic boosters as they fronted the money to begin with. What's it? Side Effects is the company that's getting the sponsors for the scoreboards, for both that one and a new one in the gym, in the high school gym. So far, I believe we have the two panels on the softball scoreboard and 6 on the high school one. Mohegan Sports Medicine has purchased a panel for both of them, one for both. And First Federal has purchased the second one for the softball, so that one is taken care of. And then McDonald's has also purchased one of the high school panels. So once all that money comes in and the other 4 sponsors are secure, then athletic boosters will be reimbursed. Macy Shear, who was honored tonight, will be playing in North-South Ohio State Basketball All-Star Game this Sunday at noon at Ohio Dominican. The football and track and cross-country record boards are in production, and hoping that those will be up by graduation. Mr. Kimmel, Dr. Burke, and Coach Rose will be attending an OHSAA Town Hall meeting in Bluffton on the 29th to hear discussions on the new referendum issues that will be voted on in May. That has to do with tournament play and that kind of thing. Currently, as of today's newspaper, the baseball team is 4-7, 2-4 in the NCC. Softball is 11-3, 6-0 in the NCC. Our boys tennis team is 3-4. And it looked like the last couple of weeks, I know that the track team has had a couple invitationals. The boys got 6th at the Kent Relays, 4th at the North Union Relays, and 3rd in the N10 Invitational. The girls were 2nd at the Kent Relays, 5th at the North Union Relays, and 3rd also at the N10 Invitational. And it looks like we're going to get into a lot of tournament play now in the end of April, beginning of May with baseball and softball. County track meet, I believe, is Friday out at Buckeye. Tournament for tennis will be on May 15th at Shelby. And our own middle school track invitational is May 17th.
Mr. Chief has anything to it?
Yes.
One quick thing to add, Ms. Woodhouse, fine athletic is it's not too early to start planning for the 15th annual Bucyrus Touchdown Club Golf Scramble. So mark your calendars for it's June 14th, and sure to be a fun day as it always is. A lot of good fellowship and good way to raise some funds for the football team. And any questions? I think you get a hold of Lynn Murdoch. I believe she's the contact person.
I believe she is.
You may know her.
June what? What was that, June, the day?
June 14th,
Thank you.
and the rain date will be the next day. Hopefully it won't be a rain date, but
Hopefully not.
8 a.m. check-in, shotgun at 9. Get your 4 best friends.
Best golf course.
Or best golf. That might be more.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And
All right. Anything else? That's it? All right. Mrs. Stone.
Hey, how is everybody?
Doing well.
Let me find my report this evening. We met Monday night over at Pioneer. Of course, it's a busy time of year, just like it is around here. Right now, they have 614 new students accepted for 2014-2015 school year, and tonight is their new student and parent orientation. The board passed a resolution Monday night recognizing Staff Appreciation Week on May 5th through the 9th. They're going to have their awards and recognition assembly on May the 1st. And we also passed a resolution to meet the new mandate from the state to go from days to hours. So we are making the school day over there for students 10 minutes longer each day, which will give them 1,046.5 hours each year of instruction time. And that builds in 7.9 days of calamity days in case they need them. So that's how they're taking care of that over there.
10 minutes will make a huge difference.
What?
10 minutes will make a huge difference.
Well, it will. I mean, it's going to add up.
I'm just talking about in a single day. 10
Oh, I
minutes
know.
adding on a day. Come on.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
Sorry.
You voted for it.
I did. What else was I gonna tell you? I thought about it when I walked in here. Because I didn't write it down. I thought, oh, I gotta tell them that, and it's gone out the window. So maybe it'll be next month. But as always, if you ever have any questions or concerns or want to know anything about Pioneer, please call me. I will find the answers out for you or whatever. Tracy, I'm still up for the offer to go over anytime. And that is the end of my report this month.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I will sneak out with everybody. Tell you what, when I first walked in this room tonight, it was hot. All those bodies in here. But it was nice. I couldn't even find a place to park.
It must not be working again.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys. Have a good
See you. Take
You
care.
too.
Dr. Johnson.
Well, for the past several weeks, been working with Crawford 2020 Vision. This year I'm the Educational Workforce Development Chairperson of one of those committees. And the last couple of days been working with commissioners in North Central State and other providers in putting together this Crawford post-secondary education agency that will be located in the old Board of Elections building. So we're putting that together and hopefully bringing those folks all together so that we can begin to provide some credentials and some certificates and hopefully some degrees to some folks locally. And so we're really looking forward to having that post-secondary education presence here in Crawford County. I think it'll be a good thing.
So will there be some potential technical fields of study? to fill maybe some local needs? Is
Right.
there businesses involved in?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to involve the business industry, K-12, and we want to create some very definite career paths, like maybe in medical services, homeland security, engineering, a number of those kinds of things, depending on the feedback we get from employers. So it's going to be, it's not scheduled to open until the fall of 2015, which sounds like a ways off, but it's really something we want to take that time and plan well and engage lots of people in that conversation about what that ought to look like and what they ought to offer. And I know everybody's excited about the building, and that's neat, but what's more important is what goes on inside the building. And of course, as you know, these days, it's not only what goes on inside the brick and mortar, but other ways that we can do stuff.
And my understanding is that they've got a great start with their $2 million goal of fundraising through State of Ohio and the Community Foundation,
Right.
and potentially the Timken
Yes.
Foundation.
Yes. So there's a number of funding sources coming together, which is really neat, but also, as you know, can be challenging. Because now you've got several masters. So, but we're very excited about the opportunities that could offer our folks here in Crawford County. The other thing I'll report, I know, was it last month, we got a little packet about Common Core. And I keep thinking that's just going to go away, but evidently it isn't. There's a lot of misconceptions about that. And one of them is that it's somehow a federal top-down mandate, and it's anything but that. It was a conglomeration of, I think, now 35 states, and the last I checked, education is reserved to the states. It's a state's right. So all these people that are real right-wing ought to take a step back and say, this is state rights, folks. You ought to be for this.
It's just the states coming together
Yeah,
to actually
exactly.
try and create some consistency. Yeah, absolutely.
And now Obama did endorse it, which is fine, and they did implement it with Race to the Top, but it's been a state initiative. So it'll be interesting to see where that whole thing goes.
And the other piece is it's not a curriculum, it's a set of standards.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's different ways to meet those standards. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a cookie cutter approach that
Right.
you must use this textbook or use this set of curriculum. The curriculum is still up to the local decision makers. And so that's a key point too.
Right.
Yeah, they're not telling you how to teach.
Right.
It's just where the bar is.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've had standards and benchmarks and all this
Absolutely.
before.
It's
new.
nothing new or different. I mean, it's just.
And most of the, many of the teachers I talk to seem to like it better than what we currently have.
Well, it creates consistency from school A to B, and
Right.
transient students, they know where they're going. Absolutely, yeah, state to state, absolutely.
So, and I've kind of lost track where the third grade guarantee testing and all that is with all the snow days. I don't know.
Mr. Henderson would be more happy to
Yeah.
answer any of those questions. He's been busy piloting park assessments and state diagnostics.
Tell you whatever you want to know.
That's the end of my report.
All right. Well, on to me with the wellness committee. I've got an extensive bit of notes here. I'll kind of pare them down. And this was the last wellness meeting of the year, so they will reconvene again in September. And just some of the highlights pointed out here from the minutes was that Mr. Souter's been doing a principal's lunch with students that, based on recommendations by the teacher and rewarding students for good behavior, attendance, and making good choices. There's Mrs. Pennington mentioned that the USDA recommendations and guidelines for the a la carte program are changing with no specific details yet, but in addition, the summer lunch program will continue with possibly some changes as to how it's run. So those details will be coming later. If my math is correct, there are 124 students taking advantage of the backpack. That's quick math for a banker without a calculator. That might be wrong. There is an application for a United Way grant in process, and they'll also the backpack committee is going to be participating in a fundraiser linked with the GOBA bike race that's coming through town in June, and Mrs. Constantine wanted me to point out that the number of students being referred for counseling has increased, which is a positive. The requirement then for a counselor from community counseling is such that her time has been increased and gives the students an opportunity to go talk to somebody without actually having to leave the building and go elsewhere. So finally, not to step on Ms. Lewis's toes here, but there is a safe after prom activity being offered to the students, an after prom, so to speak, at the high school this year with no additional charge to the students. And I'm not sure if you planned on speaking about that. Then I'll shut up. And that is my report. And now, feel free.
Yeah, prom is Saturday. Grand March will start at 7 o'clock. The dance will start at 8. And after prom, it's inflatables and movies and volleyball. And they're even doing these drawings, so someone has a chance to win a PS4.
Can non-prom goers?
If you're a chaperone, you can watch it be given away.
You did your best. I'll give you that.
Good.
What if you gamble on who won it? I just don't want to be the guy that says hands up. That's not for me.
The Arts Festival will be all day, May 8th. The seniors who are doing the capstone English project are starting their presentations May 5th. It'll be 7 days, and there will be 3 judges every day. And then the academic banquet is coming up on May 4th.
Well, thank you very much. Now, moving on to...
Sorry, question.
Yes.
What day is the art?
Arts Festival?
Yeah, Arts Festival.
May 8th.
May 8th.
Okay. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
President, members of the board. In front of you tonight, 2 sheets of paper, 2 handouts. One is notes from the student enrollment discussions meetings. This is an ever-growing list because what I emailed out last Friday, I asked the staff to look over and add comments if we felt we've missed any. So like the last page and a half are new comments from what I sent out Friday. I think it's important that this is an ongoing discussion, and the neat thing about this, as we have these focus meetings, the staff has been very engaged. We've had over 50 representatives attend these meetings and provide questions, feedback, comments, and so from that we've started to look at some ideas, and that's in the second page. It's just a front and back. Some ideas some that we've already started, some we've talked about, some that are goals going forward. The first piece, and then weaved in through all of these, is a communications piece and public relations. And we're very fortunate to have Mr. Stone and Rock Solid Media to help tackle a lot of these communication issues. As you could see, starting 2 weeks ago, Mr. Stone has started to send out what's called a weekly update to the staff. You've seen those. The work is already being done, but what we found out in our meetings is even though we've been shooting this out to Facebook and the media, our staff wasn't aware of the stories that were going out. So we've, with Chris's help, we've started to send them the updates, not necessarily the full stories, but a link. And so if they wanted to read more about, for example, the student teacher down at the elementary working with Mrs. Hawkins, they could click on that and it would take them to the full story. So just a slight adjustment without much work to try to get the story out of all the news and all the work that Chris and the administration's been doing behind the scenes to get the good news out about our district.
A lot of positive feedback about that, by the way. I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh man, that's really nice that we're getting that.
Yeah. So second piece, we're going to investigate a quarterly newsletter that quarterly or monthly by building that talks, and it's going to be a 1-page. And in fact, Chris, you talk.
Sure.
Because we talk so much, so.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you,
Kevin.
On the communications piece.
With respect to the newsletter, the idea is to keep it short, keep it sweet. 1, 2, possibly 3 stories at the max. Full color, okay, 1 page, front and back. A lot of pictures.
sent
Okay.
home with the students.
Distribution with students, okay, at the elementary building, you know, put them in the teacher's mailbox, have them go in the student folders, have them distributed to teachers to hand out to students at the secondary building. We are working towards having a meeting with Mrs. Cannon over at Pioneer about potentially utilizing their graphic design print shop that they have, and seeing if there's a way we can't do some creative partnerships, let's call it that, that will allow us to do this, to do it on a monthly basis, and it not cost us what smoke signals, anywhere near what a smoke signals cost us in the summer. So that's where we're going on that.
And we're also wanting to involve teachers in those decision making as
Right.
far as what goes into those newsletters. Lots of pictures, positive comments about the school district, just to keep on the forefront all the good things. As you've seen tonight, I mean, anybody who would walk in here in the first 45 minutes of our board meeting would say, wow, all the things. And that's just a small portion of what's going on in the building. So we need to get that news out. I think this is an inexpensive way that we can get the good news out about the district. So, and these have come from our staff meetings, and we want to do teacher highlights.
Okay.
We have a tremendously talented staff, and we need to highlight those things to our parents and our community. We're also going to look at investigating what's called a peer Bucyrus promotion. Our middle school English and language arts teachers requested doing videos of things. You know, you've seen the Pure Bucyrus or Pure Michigan ads. They want to do some Pure Bucyrus ads. And
Which
somehow-
one?
Well, and again, I think along those lines, I like the idea. What I want to do is look at some collaborative efforts, so that it's not just the school district putting the resources, time, money, and people behind it. You know, can we partner up with some local businesses in the community? Can we partner up with the city? You know, to really make this an all-encompassing, not just the schools, but let's show everything that in the community on that piece. So that was something I didn't mention today, Kevin, that I've been noodling that quite a bit.
That makes sense to involve the community piece too, because obviously we're just a part of that bigger
Absolutely.
picture. So.
Yes, sir.
Those Pure Michigan ads are really cool.
Yeah. The survey piece, as you know, we have done surveying of our open roll-in students. It's interesting, the conversations with our staff, you know, what type of information would it be valuable to survey our outgoing open enrollment students? And truly it grew into, maybe we should be invested in surveying our students and our parents on what type of experience that they're having with our school system. Through Orion's help, we've investigated a lot of avenues for surveying. You know, there's lots of people out there, most of them carry a pretty big price tag. On discussions in your board agenda is an OSBA survey that they've just started for very small amount, $700. They will send 2 representatives up to the district, talk about our needs, what we're looking to gather. They will help develop the questions. It will be through a professional service such as OSBA. They will target electronic survey and a paper survey and get all that information out to the people that we want to get out to. And then for a follow-up $700, they're going to come back and analyze the data and present to the board or to the community what the findings of that is. So $1,400, which is a very small amount of money compared. So I asked for references. For years, OSBA would be contacted and they would forward the information to firms that did the work. Either these firms are no longer in business or the people who have gone to retire. So they decided to do this as a service to districts. If we commit to this, we'll be one of the first, if not the first school that used OSBA. So while that's somewhat cautious to move in that direction, I think it's a professional organization that could lead us the right path of potentially, if we use it to open roll or to use it to survey open roll parents, we may ultimately use them in other facets to get feedback from our community and our stakeholders. So that's on your consideration today. I'm not going to go for word, but down through programming, there's things that we've done as far as expansion of preschool. We've started the adoptions program. We've expanded that to a online curriculum for our traditional students in the front building. That has included 46 additional courses. Dr. Burke has informed me that how many students now have, or how many courses are now on the request sheet? 102 new courses are being taught to students come this fall. The goal is to expand the Ed Options program into the middle school and elementary level to provide that option for parents and families. We also have grown the PSEO and dual enrollment for this coming up year because of some changes that have happened at the Board of Regency level. We're able to get our teachers back as adjunct professors if they're working towards that master's in the content area. We have had some recent hires with staff that already have the master's in the content. So working through Mansfield, North Central State College to offer that back in our district this coming fall. Technology-wise, we've obviously maximized our Sprint agreement to get 150 laptops for our classroom use and individual use for this coming up school year. And we've also investigated and committed to a technology audit that will allow for both a study of our systems and an analysis of our student and staff needs with technology. The graduation requirements is a consideration for tonight for you to take a look at also. And those are things that have come up with the staff meetings discussions. We've committed to applying for grants. We have applied for a straight A grant that is a project-based learning grant. It's called Engines of Change through a cooperative with Mid-Ohio. We've also committed to a continuation of our elementary after-school program, along with applying with a secondary focus on literacy at Mid-Ohio through a cooperative 21st Century grant. We were awarded an early childhood education expansion grant of $36,000, which will help pay for our third preschool unit. And that was just awarded this past week. We've got a lot of work to do with relationships. We're working with businesses in what's called a workforce awareness and for graduates in education. This is an in-service that we're going to have in the fall with our secondary staff and businesses to educate them on the opportunities that are exist in Bucyrus, and eventually we will parlay that into opportunities for our students. We're also looking at ways to promote family involvement in our schools. Other things we're doing is looking to try to control some of our perception. You know, the playground at Down Elementary is a free-for-all after schools and on weekends, and it draws a lot of negative attention to the grounds down there, so we're working with the city and the mayor to tighten it down a little bit, control the activity outside school hours. So, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of things that are already in place and things that we're going to continue to put in place. But I wanted to give you a chance to just kind of see the tip of the iceberg of what we're working on. Any questions on the survey in there at this point?
Kevin, if you have any kids that want to shadow a lawyer or something of that nature, please just call. Or anytime you can come and see me cussing you out and grow things.
Right. Well, the neat thing is, as we start to grow the piece with our seniors, we want it to be a career interest. So Tara Ham and Shanahan Eyes and our English department has taken groups of students, and it's been more so those students that really probably don't know what they're going to do once they get out of high school. Sure. And so we would definitely take that offer back as a mentorship or an intern type of shift.
Piggyback on what Adam said, we had two VHS students up at the probation department courthouse 2 weeks ago, and we pretty much they got their eyes opened up as far as what goes on. They were actually in the courtroom, got to meet Judge Wiseman, and actually sat in on some of the proceedings that were going on. So that's pretty much a standard that we can always accommodate pretty much.
One of the programs that has attracted a lot of our students at Pioneer is the criminal justice program. And right now, Dr. Burke is working with the Pioneer administration. Not sure, we're analyzing our satellite programs and whether the programs that we offer, media marketing or targeting all the kids that need to be targeted in Bucyrus, and whether that's the best programming. So, you know, there's too early to talk about, you know, what things that we're trying to investigate, but I know criminal justice is one program we would really like to see.
Out of the 102 requests, I believe it was over 20 requests were for the criminal justice field. Those were our highest selected courses. And so what we're proposing or trying to do is either be a satellite program for Pioneer to have our own criminal justice program, which I don't know if that'll be what they would like to do, but we asked to maybe be a feeder program, have a freshman sophomore program that might feed into their junior senior program. We're trying to, we have constitutional law, we have U.S. foreign policy, we've got another class we're trying to get that's kind of in that realm. So it's something our kids are interested in, and I think that's a target audience that we could really provide some more instruction for.
Yeah, I think the more we can offer things that other people don't.
Absolutely.
That meet the needs of our people.
Yeah, and we've got commitment from our social studies staff to continue to help develop that, commitments from our phys ed department to do some of that training, some of the physical training that they would need. And so it's not going to happen overnight because we'd have to find the programming and develop what that would look like here as a freshman sophomore program. But I really think there's a lot of promise to that. And so it's something that is very much in the front burner to try to get that around. So when we get some more details, we'll be happy to share.
I think about 4 years ago, Dr. Burke and I went down to Columbus and toured in our junior ROTC program in Columbus schools. And we tried our hardest to try to get a commitment to whether we can even apply for a grant or fund, but they cut off all new funding to start junior ROTC program types. So
if you were willing to front the upfront money of about $350,000, they would allow you to have the program.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
So, again, you have that. I'll be happy to spend that to get. But there's just a lot of things.
Just say you got a bunch of money.
Run off somewhere.
Trees up back.
Sorry. We shake the chair.
But I think it's just another way of trying to, I think a big part of helping, I think just is giving some of our students another sense of belonging to our school that might not have another longing. And that's just another way to bring them in and show them that they are definitely a big part of our school. And it's just, the more we can offer, the more we can meet the needs of all of our kids.
So a lot of these things on the list isn't anything that can be accomplished in a day or a week. It's things that we've started. We feel good about the direction we're heading. It's a moving target, but we've got a lot of things in play, and it's reflective to the feedback that the staff has given us, and we're going to ask for their involvement in some of these areas so that obviously they provided the feedback. We want to involve them in the decision making and implementing the plans. So. Like I said, these are not set in stone, but just more notes at this point, and we'll try to isolate them moving forward.
Karen, I don't know if I missed this, but is there any talks going on about potentially having a community service class or offering that as a credit to kids who want to explore that?
We actually, you want to talk a little bit about Mr. Nickler and how he's tried to get some community service requirements within the social studies department. And
yeah, our senior government class, there's a component of community service, 10 hours. And it's something that Mr. Nickler feels very strongly about. This year, it had its ups and downs and pitfalls as far as tracking and what would count and what wouldn't, but it's something he feels strongly about. He and I have met several times and looking to try to really give that as an opportunity for our kids to start even over the summer. And we called a few agencies and organizations that they want to partner with us as being open door all summer for their kids to come and help, our kids to go and help. So we're trying to get that component of community service there. We have a couple students who have approached us that want to do some internships or some shadowing. They had some time in their schedule, so we scheduled that for them. So they're going out and serving in hospitals in different areas. So it's definitely out there. It's not something that's, I guess, offered as a class. But we definitely, if students are interested in that, we do try to make the time for them to do that.
Well, I'm talking a little bit about Mr. Fumigel is going to offer a class this fall that has, second semester that talks about society issues, and talk a little bit about that too.
Right. Working with Mr. Funigello and working on some classes. We were a couple weeks ago. We were looking at trying to add a new class, trying to use some technology and giving kids a chance to do some problem-based learning and really go deeper, almost like a college class, very open, and letting kids explore and ask questions and let them dig deeper with some guidance and framework, of course. And so we've come together and going to use the Speak Truth to Power curriculum as a framework and as some curriculum to promote to get this class going. And so we're going to roll that out next year and to try to have a more college-type open discussion and let those kids kind of dig into that curriculum, dig into societal issues, and start to ask some questions and start to have some adult conversations. And we don't have it written down yet what that looks like, but it's exciting. And Mr. Funangelo and Miss Nancy Fisher, I talked to Miss Fisher, she's jumping on board. I know they were two big advocates, went to Washington, D.C., I believe, and they're excited to get this off the ground. They're not quite sure what it looks like yet, but I have no doubts in my mind that it will be good.
I forwarded on that information to the Robert Kennedy Center, and Carrie Kennedy would very much like the opportunity for when the class is established and maybe within the first week to come and address the class, because it will be the first class focused on Speak Truth to Power's curriculum. They've seen it taken piecemeal and put throughout different curriculums already existing, but this will be the first class in the country that is based solely on that curriculum, which you would really. So if you guys can give me a date as to
It'll be a second semester class.
So end of January. We strategically placed it opposite of a very large class that this year caused me to have 85 kids in study hall.
Sure.
So it's going to be an upper level class. It's probably a junior senior class, not a freshman class, junior senior level class because we wanted to open it up and have a lot of research and a lot of and again, some of that content can get a little bit deep, and so we want to make sure that it's students who can have be committed to that kind of that curriculum. So we're excited about it, and once we are able to hand out tentative schedules for next year, he's going to promote that for anyone who might want to switch into that or move into that class. So he's working on some title and some language for the syllabus, and hopefully be able to promote that here in a couple weeks.
We've also still got a contract with Jamie Bosney.
Okay.
That he can come anytime.
Okay.
We just need to give him some time to get here. And if Karen Robinson or anybody from the center can be of any help, please.
And Mr. Funangelo says he has a number of contacts from his relationships that he built, so he's eager to contact some old friends to see what they can offer. So.
And I did reach out to Amentum, who is the old Plato name, it's Amentum now, for their curriculum developers to get a contact there, because I really think the future, if it's going to spread, there needs to be some online type of format.
Karen agrees with you 100%.
Especially with the as much as they can do technology-wise, to have the actual video embedded in the program, and they've done so much work with the questioning and the prompts for students. If that was streamlined in a way that could be pushed out electronically, that is, you don't see school districts adding traditional type of courses much anymore. The expansion is in the online field. So.
Well, they were talking about using like the different defenders. Okay, on Tuesday of this week, Harry Wu's going to be in there for an hour, so you've got Monday to study Harry's narrative, and on Tuesday he's going to be on the computer, and he's just for Bucyrus students, and then Wednesday he's working with LA, Chicago, but the kids will have the opportunity to speak with them and ask them questions in real-time conversations. I think that would, and just like what you said, going to that online way of doing it, I think is what they're looking at as well.
And I'm sure Mr. Funangelo and Nancy and the rest of us will be happy to pilot anything that might come down that road.
That's wonderful.
All right. Thank you very much.
I just want to commend Kevin for taking the initiative on the open enrollment issues. And I obviously haven't read through all of the comments, but I'm sure there are going to be things that emerge from that will be addressed.
Absolutely.
But thank you for taking that initiative, and it just shows not just listening, that's important, but conversation and dialogue, and that's when good things happen. So, thank you.
Didn't have anybody, obviously. All right, moving on to the personnel certified staff. G.
Oh, separately.
President Murdoch, members of the board, it's my recommendation to approve items A through I with the exception of item G due to a potential conflict of interest there. So items A through I under the personnel certified staff section of the agenda without item G.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Schiefer?
Yes.
Ms. Woodard?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
President Murdoch, it's my recommendation to approve item G under the personnel certified staff section of the agenda.
Could I get a motion, please?
Moved.
Support?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Woodard?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Abstain.
Mr. Schiefer?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
President Murdoch, members of the board, it's my recommendation that you approve items A through F under the personnel classified section of the agenda.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Support. Any discussion?
Do we need to pull out item E?
Yes,
In that
we do.
regard?
Yes, we do.
Yes, thank you. Apologize for that.
Did you say D? I said E.
E.
Oh, am I looking, am I missing something too?
Maybe I'm not on that. Okay, sorry, I'm ahead of
E.
Sorry. So many things. Wow. I got that.
Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Ms. Woodard?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Schiefer?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
President Murdoch, it's my pleasure to recommend that you approve item E under the personnel classified section of the agenda.
Can I get a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Hearing no discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schiefer?
Yes.
Ms. Woodard?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Abstain. Get fired every year.
He comes back.
No, you're not. Well, not in that regard. What? This is D? That's what it says D.
E.
Well, I appreciate that.
President Murdoch, it's my recommendation to approve items A through M under the business section of the agenda.
I would ask only that item D be separated for open discussion.
Absolutely. Can I get a motion on everything but item D?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Schiefer?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Woodard?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
President Murphy, my recommendation to approve item, the board considers approving item D under the business section of the agenda.
Could I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Support.
Any discussion? Mr. Stone.
I just have some questions, and I've had a lot of conversation with President Brad and with Mr. Kimmel in regard to this issue, and I want to just address a couple of things. First, you know, obviously making this move from 24 to 21 credits, I understand that that actually allows us to capture 10%, what it looks like of 10% of our student population to graduate on time, which is very important. However, looking at that, what other options did the administration actually explore before deciding that 24 to 21 was the way to go?
I'll defer to Dr. Burke. Go ahead.
So that doesn't mean we talk. And this, some of these things that we've done, and please jump in if I don't catch them all, we've been working on for quite a few years with the addition of credit recovery to try to get kids through to meeting that requirement, especially after the block scheduling had phased out and we were back on to single periods. Credit Flex has been a major option for some of our kids who possibly went to Pioneer without physical education or one of those major core courses, or needed some electives while at Pioneer, but were able to use some work study or some things as a job to get DAC credits. We've tried to explore those avenues. What else am I? There was many.
Well, in that whole credit piece, the credit recovery piece, it's not just the summer school credit recovery, but there's been a lot of kids that have had to extend their school day by staying after with Mr. Foreman and the teachers that are in the credit recovery program to make up the credits that they had lost. And an interesting point with the block scheduling is prior to the block, 20 credits and then 21 credits were the graduation requirement. When the block was studied, one of the things that is an advantage to being on the block is that you really have 2 brand new school years within one. And that offered an opportunity that, let's say I failed freshman English my first semester of my freshman year, I still had an opportunity to retake that class second semester and salvage that English credit, which is so important to freshmen. So really, if you look at 8 opportunities per year, 4 years, that's 32 credit opportunities. When the block started to get phased out, the things that we did to prolong the block was to go to split blocks. So 43-minute classes that were awarded a half a credit at the semester break, because the way the schedule was set up is either you were a full credit if you were in 88-minute period blocks, or 43 minutes you earned a half a credit. Since we've come off the block, those classes and credits are year-long. And so if I have a bad 9 weeks, there's a potential I could not earn credit, and there's no opportunity to make that credit up until the next year. So most of our kids take 7 credits per year, so times 4, that's 28 opportunities, down from 32 opportunities. So those are some things that the administration considered on top of. When we made the cuts, we had maybe not as many elective classes. Last year when this was discussed as a board, one of the considerations that we had a lot of kids sitting in study hall. We were all in favor of trying to limit the number of study halls that kids that were sitting in, but what we didn't do is we didn't maybe have the number of opportunities. So as we've increased the course requirements, or the course curriculum, we now have 46 new courses starting in the fall, which 102 of them will be taken by our upperclassmen. That gives us the latitude.